One job of VFD is to protect the motor. It has a lot of functions to protect. Some are built in like overcurrent, but some are required to be enabled or need some configuration to suit our application like overload protection or underload protection or input and output phase protection. Overload means that the motor is loaded more than its capacity. Example could be related to hoist application, where it is possible that the motor is loaded the weight more than it is designed for. So it will result in higher amps until it is stopped. To protect against overload, we need to enter the correct value of motor current and set the overload threshold and the allowed time before the trip occurs. And most importantly, you need to select the suitable action like deceleration or free run based on application. Once the trip happens, either it will decelerate or it will let the motor run free based on its momentum. As you can see in the demo, we deliberately put the overload trip at 50% for the purpose of simulation and trip delay time at 5 seconds. The motor rated current is 1.8 amps. And the action we select is deceleration. Let's start the motor. So 5 seconds pass and overload trip showed up. Next we have is phase loss protection. Phase loss protection feature can be enabled to protect against phase loss either at the input side or at the motor connection. In contrast to overload protection, there is underload protection, which means that the motor will trip as underload trip. If it is using less current than what it is supposed to be, it will display underload trip. However, it is important to know why we need this feature. We will explore this question by an example. Here is the pumping system. Now imagine in the piping system there is some leakage and the pumps are running without water. No water means no load and no load means reduced current. So this reduced current is the indication of no load, and on basis of this underload trip can be triggered, which will give dry run protection. It can be enabled and set just like overload trip by these mentioned parameters.